What's good, YouTube? So today I'm gonna go over this little women firefighters, and they're complaining about the different challenges they face, and I just want to kind of do a comparing and contrasting. Maybe that's not even the right word. I just want to break down essentially like what they're saying as far as like the differences between gender, and let's just see if we can find any kind of buffoonery or foolishness here, because this is pretty obvious. I mean, why, women in the military, women firefighters, female police officers, are these men's jobs or are they women's jobs? Do we want women in these kind of jobs because we know they're weaker physically, right? And so let me start off by saying, I'm not prejudicing against women. I'm not trying to oppress women or anything like that. But we have natural laws, and there are natural abilities that men have that women don't have, just like there's natural abilities that women have that men don't have, right? So it's not that I'm trying to discriminate or oppress or keep anything out. I respect women who do these type of jobs, in the sense that those are hard jobs. I respect anyone who's doing those type of jobs, period. I respect women who do those type of jobs and men. But the question is, is it a risk, is it a liability to have women in these type of positions? Is it a potential disaster if a woman can't? I mean, I'd much rather have a man carry me out of a burning building than a woman. But if a woman did it and she did it successfully, I'd thank God. However, I would if I had to bet, I would bet that a man is going to do a better job of carrying me out of a burning building than the average female. Okay, so let's just listen to this and see if we can clue in onto any foolery, tomfoolery, nonsense, any kind of equality, liberal, whitewashing here, for lack of a better word. We know when they're talking about this. I haven't really heard this. I just saw it, and I thought we'd jump right into it.
We will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
News is more than a headline. It informs, it inspires, and it still matters. To cover it.
To confront racism, but when the school board...
Next on Top Story, in a fire season like no other, those on the front lines are up against some of the toughest conditions, and female firefighters are stepping up despite the unique challenges they face. Julie Sirkin has their story and their push to recruit more women.
Women make up less than 5% of career firefighters. A fire department in Oregon is working to change that. One of their efforts, a free fire camp for young girls aged 16 to 21.
So already we've got affirmative action coming into play and people acting like, oh, why aren't there more female firefighters? Like, this just kind of is part and parcel to a lot of the mentality today where people are just so lost in the sauce as far as like, oh, everything's equal, it's like, no, everything is not equal. That's just not life. Life doesn't work that way. A bird is not a lion, right? A bird cannot fight a lion, as far as brute strength is concerned. A lion is more powerful than a bird. That's just a fact, right? That's just nature. But these people are so brainwashed into believing that, like, oh, everything's equal. Why don't we have more women in the fire? It's like, no wonder you don't have them, because women don't want to do these type of jobs. There's no feminists on a sinking ship, right? When it comes time to, fend off the intruders, women disappear, and it's time for men. I'm not saying no women have ever battled off intruders. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm just saying most women, are going to leave the hard jobs up to the men. And this is what I'm saying is feminism is all about equality when it benefits them. Feminism is all about equality when it benefits women, but when it comes time to do the hard jobs, now all of a sudden they need a man, right? That's just how it always goes. They're only feminists in theory. In reality, that female nature comes out and they need a man all of a sudden, right? Because they got needs, and particularly when it's time to settle down and they need a husband to raise a kid. Now all of a sudden they want the guy to pay the bills. Now all of a sudden they want the traditional man. But before, she was a strong and independent woman. Now when it's time to settle down and pay the bills, now she needs a man with money, right? This is the hypocrisy and the shallowness of feminism. They said only they're like, oh, only 5% of female firefighters only 5% of firefighters are females. Oh, we need to change that. Let's set up these free camps only for women, like, as if that's not sexist, right? So the women get free camps, but the men don't. I mean, I get it. You're trying to encourage women to join, but maybe there's a reason that the women haven't joined.
The things that some of these, like, oh man, it kind of makes me choke up a little bit.
This woman looks butch. Look at her haircut. Like, clearly she's probably not, Anyway, I don't want to say anything that's going to get me in trouble, but, this is the kind of woman that fights fires.
The things that some of these girls say and how powerful we have been to them is just mind-blowing.
As first responders battle dual crises of more fires and an ongoing pandemic, departments are struggling to keep up nationwide, citing a shortage of trained firefighters. Some say it's now or never to recruit more women.
They are every bit as capable of doing the job as the men are.
No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not, though. They're not. Women are not as physically strong as men. That's a scientific fact. Sorry. Firefighting is a strength job. You need strength. You need endurance. You need a lot of physicality. I'm not saying that there's no women out there who are stronger than some men. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying naturally, biologically, men are stronger than women. That's just a fact. Women are not biologically able to keep up with men physically. That's just a fact. And it's been proven again and again and again in sports, in reality. It's just, these people are telling lies. And not only that, that's a dangerous job. Who would really want to have that kind of job? Why are you encouraging young women to risk their lives? I mean, you're risking your life. Now, I'm not saying that's not a noble, honorable profession. It absolutely is. It's just, why recruit anybody for that if they don't really, if that's not really their calling? I think, jobs like police officers, military, firefighting, these types of risky jobs where your life is in danger at work, I think that it needs to be a kind of special calling. You shouldn't just recruit. I'll tell you what, man, I do not like Army recruiters. I really don't. Those guys, to me, are parasitic, man. They really are parasitic, because they're out here recruiting lives. They're out here, you go off to the military, you lose your life. And these are kids who don't know any better. And they got these recruiting videos, join the Army, you can get $50,000 signing bonus. I remember when I was 19, tell you a little story. When I was 19, I thought it was a good idea to join the Army. I thought maybe I should do that. Maybe it'll be good because I wanted to go to college. Maybe I could just go to college. They'll pay for my college. I don't have to be in debt. And they said you could get. I remember they used to, and this was right after the Iraq War started, right? So they were campaigning hard, and I was thinking like, oh, I won't go to war. Da 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 da. So I went in and I signed up. They promise you up to 50. It was either 50,000 or 20,000. I want to say 50,000. So they promise you up to $50,000 signing bonus, right? When I went in there, they gave me $1,000 signing bonus, which is peanuts, right? That's nothing. But to an 18, 19-year-old, that's like, oh, $1,000. But that's not even why. Like, even then, when I saw it, I was like, that's not a lot of money. Right, because even then I knew it wasn't, but they promised up to 20 or 50,000. I can't remember how much, but it was at least $20,000 they promised. Up to, right, that little fine print, up to. So I went in and signed it. I got all signed up, took the oath, all that. I was ready to go, and they were like, okay, so we're going to give you you're going to be a Humvee mechanic, right? Humvee mechanic. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll be a Humvee mechanic. Come to find out later, the Humvee mechanics are the guys. When the Humvee is driving along the road in Iraq and a bomb blows off, The Humvee mechanics are the guys that jump out and fix the car. Okay? So basically I was a sitting duck. I would have been a sitting duck, right? Essentially, like just for snipers, pot shots, whatever, right? So $1,000 signing bonus to go work on cars that just got blown up on the roadside, basically a sitting duck. I mean, that's what the military is to me, right? How I got out of it was I had some health issues that I didn't know about, or that I knew about, but I didn't know was going to disqualify me. And they found out during my recruiting process after I had signed up and all that. They found out about my health issues, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we can't accept you because of these health issues." So luckily I got out of it. But I was 19 and I was stupid, right? So it's just like this. It's like you're out here recruiting young girls to go fight fires when they could lose their life. That's someone's daughter. That could be someone's mother. That could be someone's wife and sister. I'm not saying they're special, like, oh, well, only men need to do this. But I mean, I'm for equality. But in reality, physically, they cannot do what men do, which means that they're going to put their other firefighters at risk. They're going to put their own lives more at risk, right? And they're not going to be able to do the job as well. So what's with this slimy recruiting? You just come and it's all free, just like the military. Like, oh, come, we'll give you $20,000 signing bonus so you can go lose your life. It's just like slimy, man, slimy.
Capable, yes, but not without facing challenges unique to women.
I'm 5'5". I weigh 130 pounds.
Captain Care.
So listen to what they just said. They started out by saying, women are just as capable as men, and then they come around and then they say this double speak, not without facing challenges that are unique to women. So it sounds like they're like these special classes. It sounds like they're empowered. Just say they're weaker. Just say they're weaker physically. Just say that. But they can't just say that. They have to say, oh no, we're equal, but yeah, we have unique challenges. And then she starts talking about her height and her weight and da-da-da. It's like, just say it. Just be freaking transparent. They're not as strong physically. Just say that.
Karen Buraker is the first female captain in her department's history.
But people see me and they're like, oh my gosh, I guess if you can do it, I can do it too.
Why didn't you think that you could have a leadership role?
I look at that and I see a liability. I look at that and I see a risk. I don't look at that and see like, oh, if she can do it, I can do it. Like, it's just a miracle that your height and weight hasn't come into play yet. Say you're in a burning building and you have to lift up a big, wooden beam off somebody. Can you do it at 5'5", weighing 130 pounds? Or is a big burly guy who's 6'5" and weighs 300 pounds, is he going to be able to lift that? I'm going to go with the burly guy. Why don't we recruit stronger men? Because we have a society and a culture that is feminizing men in order to let women catch up, in order to pretend that we're all equal, which is just BS. And this is the SJW culture, right? Social justice warrior culture, right? This equality culture, this liberal culture, right? Where they're trying to equalize everything at the cost of what? At the cost of reality, at the cost of risk, at the cost of, in this case, potentially lives being lost. And they're campaigning on national news to recruit young women to this dangerous job that could, it's just like, bananas, man.
No one else was within those roles when I joined.
No women.
No women.
Chief Amy Hannafin, president of Women in Fire and operations chief at McMinnville, is hoping to lift more women up the leadership ladder.
It can be difficult if you don't have a progressive organization that maybe has those policies in place.
Women in Fire,
progressive, right? These progressives are, oh, it's so progressive, right? No, it's risky is what it is. Progressive. Like, it's not, you're not living in reality. Not progressive.
national Oregon-based organization has been instrumental in crafting better policies for women in the fire service. Policies like protective equipment tailored to men.
It's hard for me to step up into the engine without pulling my legs up because the crotch hangs down so low.
Reproductive cancers. In some states like Oregon, cancers that impact male reproductive organs are covered. But for women, they...
So you see, they have to change everything, even the way the fire truck is shaped, the way the the protective gear is shaped. They have to change everything to tailor it to female bodies. I mean, that just creates more problems, creates more issues, makes it harder, right? Now, fine, if that's what you want to do, but again, bottom line, women are not going to be able to do the job the same as a man. And they're sitting here complaining like, oh, it's some kind of sexist thing that the fire trucks aren't tailored to women. Like, dude, you're not, like, get a clue. You're not living in reality. Like, just, it's just a miracle that something hasn't happened to these women.
We aren't.
Just because we weren't represented, you don't think about what you can't see.
Maternity leave policy.
So you see, they're turning it into like this is an oppression. We weren't represented. It's like, because you're not supposed to be doing this job. You're not supposed to be doing this. It wasn't tailored for you. This is not a video game. You don't get, respawns or you can't just turn the game on and play it over again if you die. Like, this is real life.
We didn't have a pregnancy policy when I got hired.
Paid leave and limited options for childcare.
We're a dual firefighting household. We have 4 kids. How do we do this?
Hazardous.
Don't. How about that? How about don't? Right? How about don't put both of your lives at risk? Right? I mean, imagine the statistics of how much higher one of the parents is going to die if they're both firefighters, right? And they're sitting there acting like it's like, oh, this is some kind of challenge to overcome. How about don't do that to your kids, right? If you love your kids, stop being a firefighter. How about that? Like, I get it. You got, you want to help. You have patriotism or whatever that's in your blood. Find different ways. Start a nonprofit. Help homeless people. Do something. If you have kids, like, for the sake of your kids, they don't want to see their parents die at work, Like, I mean, that's just a suggestion. Like, I'm not saying that's the hard and fast rule or anything like that, but I mean, you're twisting this around like it's like some kind of oppressive thing. Like, oh, we need representation in the firefighting community. It's like, you're not supposed to be there in the first place, not because of your gender, because you're just not as far as nature is concerned, you shouldn't be doing that job.
Chemicals. Even the gear we wear can be an exposure.
And lawmakers like Dacia Graber are starting to take action.
Why are more firefighters getting cancer and dying?
All the unknowns, adding to the stress women in the fire service already face. But with hard work and passion, women in the field are striving to improve conditions.
Oh, it's the women who's woning, right? Women are striving and they're over. It's like, man. Anyway, yeah, people get cancer when they fight fires because fires release toxins into the air when it burns. It's carcinogenic. It's like, that's basic science, right? Why are more people getting cancer? Because probably there's more fires and they're breathing more of that stuff in.
So that more women see firefighting as a career.
Julie Sirkin joins us now on Top Story. Julie, we just saw the uphill battle female firefighters are up against there in your story. You mentioned the changes that haven't happened yet, including things like benefits specific to women and the equipment that's needed. It seems like county and city budgets are always squeezed, so how will they make the argument that they need this funding?
Tom, the women that we spoke to on the ground are adamant that this happens now. They're working 48-hour shifts, multiple of them in a row. They're being deployed to wildfires, and they also function as medics there. And amid COVID, they're really overstretched. Now, it's not just passion driving them. We spoke to one woman, Dacia Graber. She's a firefighter of 20 years, and she's also the second woman in the nation elected to the state legislature. She's working with her partners here in Washington, D.C. to make sure these changes translate from the state level to the national level. Tom?
Okay, Julie Sirkin, thanks so much for that. When we come back, ready for the weekend.
Yeah, man. Conclusion, it's just, like, what are they doing there in the first place? But I'm going to leave it there, guys. I don't think I have much more to say about this. I just think it's a pretty good example of how women are trying to, like, use their tomfoolery to come in and change things around and then they act like, oh, you got to listen to that narrative. So first of all, like, they're oppressed and they're not represented, and So what is that subtly saying? That's subtly saying men are oppressing us, the patriarchy, right? Then they're trying to act like, well, now we're starting these programs to help young women. It's like, so we're doing something. And so women hear that kind of stuff and they pick it up and they take it and they run with it. Like, oh yes, we're overcoming the patriarchy now because now we need more representation in firefighting, And like, and it needs to go national and this needs to be something that we talk about. And invariably what they're going to start doing is they're going to start acting like men are oppressing them, right? And it's like, you're missing the entire point. The entire point is women shouldn't be firefighters in the first place. Yes, because you're weaker physically. That's just a fact. That is a scientific fact that has been proven again and again and again. So why, what is this? The next thing you know, we're going to turn around and they're going to have a whole firefighting department with nothing but women. Oh, it's all female. Oh, isn't that great? Isn't that progressive? Like, oh, we're so proud of ourselves for being so progressive. It's like, just drop it, man. Nobody is oppressing women. Nobody is trying to oppress people of color. It's over. The civil rights movement happened 60 years ago. It's over. Like, these things do not exist. Women, it's only 5% of women because women do not want to risk their lives. There's only 5% of women in the firefighting industry because women do not want to do that type of job. It's not because they're oppressed and they're underrepresented, all this bullshit that they're twisting around on men. It's because women do not want to do that job because it's a risky, dangerous, life-threatening job. And so they go and they find some female firefighters, from some random city somewhere, like, and make them out like heroes. And I'm not saying they're not heroes per se. Like, okay, you're saving lives if you're fighting fires. That's heroic. That's great. But you're not normal. It's not average for a woman to be like, yeah, I want to be a firefighter. Like, there's something off about that. That's not normal. And like, if it's normal to you, that's great. That was your calling. You're just different. That's not. 9 women out of 10 do not want to go fight a fire. They want a man to do it. There's no feminists in a burning house or a sinking ship. Period. Right? I'm going to leave it there. Appreciate you guys listening. Jay Lee, Northwest Podcast. Peace.